Hello friends, this is Scott, and we're taking the final look at the chicken coop that I built, I don't even know how many years ago, probably 12, 13. But I've had these chickens throughout the yard in different places, and we finally built a big coop, and we've had them here for the majority of the time. And we got the nice fence, and I've always liked this coop and how it turned out and having the chickens. But as I told you in previous videos, my wife is tired of my backyard. I should say hates my backyard. So she was wanting the chickens out of here. She wants to get just flowers and not have it be a farm back here. So I told her I would move the chickens to the hobby farm, which I already have, but I still have to get a coop built down there, and I don't have the money for materials at the moment. So I'm going to reclaim the materials as much as I can from this coop. So the first step was I had to take the fence down, and I'll take that down to the hobby farm and find a use for it. It's a nice fence. Can't use the posts because they're cemented in the ground. I'll have to cut those off here at the end of the project. But I started out just taking off the doors and, kind of melancholy. It wasn't really my idea to remove this coop, but it is what it is. So I started, tearing off the front siding and a lot of the materials at the very beginning of this project, including the roof and some of the rafters, I can reuse, at least parts of them. But as I get down closer to the base, there's less materials that I can reuse just because of the amount of nails, and there's some rot and some other damage. So, got to start at the top when you tear down a structure. So I got the old ladder out and got up here, and I just wanted to kind of give you a look at what the roof looked like. I had asphalt shingled with tar paper down, and we'd had a little bit of a wind damage already. So, this coop has been here for a while, and so it was probably time for a redo anyway. But again, I'm trying to reclaim most of the materials. None of this roofing is obviously reclaimable, so I'm just going to tear all that out. And I did have a nice drip edge, which I'll keep that and reuse that on the coop down at the hobby farm. Going down to just the layer of tar paper. As you see, we got quite a bit of debris up here I've got to clean up, but not a big deal. Got that all tore off, which is a pretty simple project. You see my pen there. I'm trying to collect all the nails. I don't want them dropping throughout the yard, but I don't know how successful I was with that. But there's some good plywood up here I can reuse. And I got down to the last piece of plywood, and it was a little bit of a pain to get off. And I was getting close to the end of the day, so I just wanted to leave it there to go and keep my tools, out of the weather. It's been a little bit rainy, so. But here's a little bit of a look inside the coop. I had two sections. And I had the water and the heat lamp, or the light, I should say, on this side, along with the food in the back. And on the other side was just kind of the ramp up and a dark side of the coop so they could roost on that side. And you see here, there's a little bit of damage, and that's all from mice chewing on that. So, we did have mice. When you have a coop, you're going to have mice, and they became a little bit of a problem. I did have a couple flaws in my design, but I'll fix them on the next one. Here's a look at the first load of stuff I took down to the hobby farm, and I was able to reclaim quite a bit. Again, I'm just going to build probably a 6x6 coop down here to start with, and this should be, once I get all these materials down there, I should be able to have enough to build that coop. So we'll see. But got the roof off, and just take another look here. You see the nest boxes on the right side, and there's some roofs in there I just had for them. So one side was always lit and the other side was dark, so the chickens could choose, especially in the winter, which side they wanted to sleep on. But I kind of wish I wouldn't have put that wall in there. I did it originally because I thought I could raise two different batches of birds and keep them separate, but having that lifted off the ground, there was really no way to, or it would be really tough to try to put a divider underneath the coop there. So it was a good idea, but I wish I would have just had a big full, just no wall in the middle of the coop. Now here's a little damage. I fell through. I actually stepped on this and went right through, as you see there. But that's where the water was, and so the water would leak out sometimes, and it did rot the floor out. So it was time to get rid of this coop. And so there's half of it gone, and just working on the other side, and you can see a little bit better. There, I had a little bit of a ramp there on the right side where they could climb up from underneath the coop, and they had safety under there and shelter. So. But again, I got down to the nitty-gritty, really, and it's all this poopy bedding that I have to scrape off this floor before I tear the floor down. So, that's what it looked like, and it was starting to smell a little bit gamey. So I got that all scooped out onto the ground. And, future owners will really think, hey, this is pretty good ground over here. I wonder why things are growing so well. Well, having the chickens here this long and all that fertility, yeah, it'll be a pretty good little garden space for somebody. Now I got the back wall tipped down, and you see there's more of the mice damage, chewing on it and living up in there. So they'd climb. They lived elsewhere, I think, a lot. They'd run along the fence and get up on the top layer. And one of my design flaws was there was a little bit of a gap, so the mice were able to get in from the fence and tear into the coop. But there's a little closer look at the mice damage. Close to getting done with this coop tear down, and we had a little bit of a thunderstorm come through and had some hail. So yeah, it wasn't the biggest hail, but it didn't feel very good when it hit you in the head. But I'll show you a close up here in a minute. There you go, of what the hail looks like. And again, it's pea size, a little bit bigger, but yeah, pretty good little hailstorm, good little rain. So once it dried out a little bit and sun came back out, I got back out, and all I have left is the base to do. And so here's a look at how I framed it up. And yeah, it's good to remember these things. I'm glad I'm documenting this because I don't remember a lot of things that I do. So having it documented, I can always go back and see how I built this coop originally. And again, I had some design flaws that I do differently, or I will do differently. But overall, this was a very good coop, and I did a pretty good job with it. But I like nicer looking coops that look more like a chicken coop, fancy. And so I don't think I'll be building that. But in the future, I'll probably buy one. We'll see. So there's the last pieces of it, or the back and the front boards or sections, and I did have them buried in the ground, so I had to rip those out. And then I decided to take a circular saw because none of these boards were salvageable. They had way too many nails and rot, and so I just used my circular saw and just cut it up into pieces, and there we go. Coop is gone. And here's a look from the fence line at all the garbage that I have to throw away over the next few weeks in my garbage cans. And last part of the project was cutting off the fence posts. I just took a grinder and just grind them off. And there they are, ready to be thrown away. Again, I couldn't reuse those. I could reuse them if I had a short little fence. So, maybe there's a purpose for it. I don't know. So there's a look at what's, future possibilities for what could be done in this space. And I don't have any idea if we're going to do anything or what's going to happen here, if it's for the next owners. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm happy that I got that done, and it took me 3 days, parts of 3 days. So yeah, and I did load up some more wall brick and got rid of that last part of my terrace that I want to take down to finish that wall. Just had a little bit of supplies to take down to the hobby farm to work on, and hope I have enough to make a new coop down there. Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.